a quick walkthrough of just the worksheet view in the lab section. So if you select worksheet, this allows you to very easily review lab trends over time, which is the most useful way to view those things, in my opinion. So we can do that by typing in the lab test that we want, selecting add. This populates that information into the test to be displayed area. If you wanted to, you could select a specific specimen that you wanted the lab test from. Pretty much, I just leave this at any. Then we select OK, and it's going to put that test across the columns and then the dates across the rows. As you can see, the rows are a lot narrower than the width of the column. So it's very easy to quickly review a trend over time by just looking up and down the column here. You can adjust the date range, either do a custom range or these. Usually 2 years or all results are good. But any of these is fine for whatever you're looking for. You can adjust the orientation of the table. However, I think this makes it more difficult to review the trends because you're looking over a larger area of information. So horizontal is a better view, which is the default view. You can also select graph or comments. Comments is good to have. It will tell you things like your specimen is hemolyzed, for example, if the lab entered a comment on your lab result. Otherwise, you can select a graph and it will create a graph of your specific test. You can only do one of these at a time, so even control clicking won't select multiple because they'll likely have a different scale anyway, but you can look at the trend over time and adjust the time that's being shown, etc. And if you wanted to, you could zoom in on the graph or make the graph 3D or show values or not show values on your graph, perhaps depending on how many data points you're looking at and how clear that information is. But that's the worksheet view overview. Then separately, you can also create your own test groups, as I've done here. So it says person with defined test groups. So this is under my name, and this makes it very easy to quickly review these tests. So here is basically a BMP, basic metabolic panel. If we select this, then it shows those tests to be displayed automatically, and we say OK. As this says, we're limited to 7 tests to create a new test group. So for example, if we did our Chem 7 here, we hit add. If we count these up, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them. And you can see our new button is grayed out, meaning I cannot create a new test group with these. But if we choose a couple of ones that we think are lower priority, maybe we can remove the EGFR and let's say anion gap or glucose. Maybe we'll remove glucose and review that separately. Now our new button is available to be selected. Also, we can reorder these. So the default order in this case doesn't make as much sense as, say, putting it in order of the handwritten lab skeleton. So we can rearrange by selecting one and clicking the up or down arrows to move where that item is in the list. So we can rearrange this to be in the lab skeleton order like this. Now it makes good sense. We say OK, it will display them just like that. Or we can go back to this worksheet menu and they'll still be there. We could say new, and it'll say, do you want to create a new test group with these tests? And you can say yes or no. I'll say no because I already have these pulled up. If you are at the DCVA, you can type in my name and hit enter, and it will pull up all of my test groups, and you can copy these over. So you select one and you say new, and it'll ask, do you want to create a new test group with these tests, just like it just did? And if you say yes, then it will then show your own name here as the person with that group. And you could do that for each of these. As you can see, we can select multiple at once to view as well. But again, to create a group, you're limited to just 7 tests. So you do that and say new. I give you permission to copy over the test groups that I've made. You can also create a group by entering tests one at a time. So if you wanted to create your chemistry this way, you could create it this way as well. However you want to make your test groups. I find this to be a very helpful and easy way to review lab tests in CPRS.